Hey there friends, how you doing today? Hope everything's going well for you. Gonna be doing a little bit of a different video this day around. I'd love to be doing a snowcat action video, but there are more pressing things going on around here. In the past 2 months we've received just under 26 inches of snow, so that's pretty good. And then last week I actually took a delivery of a cool little action camera, this Akaso Brave 7, so hopefully I'll be able to capture some video for you guys. So yeah, that's going to be in some upcoming videos, but like I said, right now priority is a different project. There's the snowcat. Today I need to address a pretty big issue with my tractor. I have a Bolens G174. It's a 3-cylinder compact utility tractor, and the clutch on it is not releasing anymore. So today I need to get this thing split right down the middle so I can access the clutch and actually get this thing usable again. It is my main tool for snow clearing around here. Pretty good year for snow accumulation. So once I get this done, I can continue to tinker with the snowcat outside and eventually get some real video of it moving around. Metal walls, so hopefully I can just kind of place it up on a wall and let it do some time lapse for us and not have to drain my phone battery. But anyway, gonna let it warm up in here a little bit and get started. Well, it's been about 90 minutes, and that is actually fantastic time to get basically the tractor in a state where everything that runs from front to back, so whether it's hydraulic lines, electrical lines, fuel lines, tachometer, you name it, everything that runs basically across this section here has been disconnected and or removed. It's a pretty labor intensive sequence, but 90 minutes to get to here is really good actually. So I need to build a temporary support basically to hold the back end of the tractor and the front end of the tractor at the same height so that they can kind of slide apart. Now I'll probably use like a dolly or something, cut some 2x4s and build some supports and get it all held in place. And once I've got that temporary support ready, then I can go ahead and unbolt the bell housing, and then I can separate the tractor and we'll get a first look at what's going on with the clutch. Ta-da! The tractor is split, and everything works out. It goes so smoothly. It's very easy to separate. So I built a support on that side so that stops it from dropping down. And because the front half of the engine is a kind of neutrally balanced, there is potential for it to actually tip forward. So I put a support up at the front, so basically it can't tip either way. It's supported by the dolly underneath, which makes it easy to roll around. And the back, that's the same support that I built, I don't know, 5-6 years ago when I had to do this job once before, and it works out perfectly still. That's the Ukrainian in me keeping stuff around forever. But yeah, now what's going on with the clutch? Well, it seems that these pawls, these release arms, have worn through. You can see this one here is still partially intact, but there is a lot of wear. So this is what those release fingers are supposed to look like, and that's what those ones look like. So the next task here will be to unbolt the pressure plate from the flywheel and get that sucker out of there. And I still have an alignment tool that will help align the actual clutch disc. So we'll probably be able to reuse that clutch disc. I don't think anything's going to be wrong with it. It's probably in perfectly good shape. So we'll get the pressure plate out and the whole mechanism out and replaced. We'll get the new one installed, and then I'm measured with reference to the pressure plate, and there's some specs in the manual that tell us exactly how far these levers are supposed to be based on factory spec. can of brake clean and got the inside of the bell housing reasonably tidied up. A lot of the material that was flung to the outsides is gone now, and yeah, it's looking a little better. The flywheel, it's in pretty good shape. Just took just a little palm sander and just cleaned up the surface a little bit. It's in good condition, and same for the clutch disc. Really, it has very minimal wear on it. This is my alignment tool. I just whipped this up in the lathe, so the end there is designed to fit into the pilot bearing, and it aligns the disc when you go to put the pressure plate onto the clutch disc and get it all bolted together. And basically, by having that aligned properly, it basically aligns the input shaft to go straight through the clutch disc right into the pilot bearing without any issues. Makes assembly, well, possible. Otherwise, you just wouldn't be able to do it. So the next step is to get that pressure plate installed back onto the flywheel and get it torqued into place. And I'm going to take some measurements to make sure that the release fingers there are set correctly. Okay, I have the clutch assembly all back together. I checked the clearances. Basically, it's measured from the face of the flywheel to the end of the release lever, and it falls within the spec, so that's great. They do change because they are floating in there, so they never kind of really have the same measurement after you move them around a little bit. But yeah, they do fall within the range, which is good. So that's done. All of the bolts that hold the pressure plate to the flywheel are torqued in place. I just used some compressed air and I blew out all the dust and stuff that's in the gap there behind the flywheel. And like I said earlier, I cleaned out the bell housing. The throw-up bearing is in good shape. There's nothing really wrong with it, so we're gonna run that as is. We're at a point now where I can bring both halves of the tractor back together and start to reassemble. Okay, so both halves are back together. They are just lightly bolted. I haven't torqued the bell housing bolts yet, but it's all snugged up. And so inside, it's hard to see, but inside there, you can't really see in the video, but I can see through the inspection hole that there is the release bearing, and I can put a screwdriver in there and I can spin the outer half of the release bearing that would contact the levers on the pressure plate. So that means that there is no drag between that bearing and the release lever, so that when the engine's running, there should be minimal rotation of that bearing, so it's not going to be running all the time. And that's kind of the intent there, is to have 100 thousandths of play of air gap between the bearing and those levers, so that you're not always running the bearing and wearing it out. So that's just a matter of turning a turnbuckle that connects the actual clutch lever to the yoke inside of the bell housing there. And basically I just played with it back and forth. I found where when I advanced the turnbuckle too much, The bearing couldn't spin anymore because it was pressed against those release levers, and so all I did is I backed it off till I could spin it freely and locked it in place. So that should be set up so that it won't wear out. Advancing that turnbuckle anymore at this point would probably be cause for wear, so just don't want to have to take this apart in the near future and deal with that again. All right, moment of truth. Everything on the tractor is back together as it should be, ready to go. So I've already purged the fuel filter and I've purged the line going up to the fuel pump. So should be ready to go. I'm going to stop it now. Let's see. impossible to get it in or out of gear without doing some pretty serious grinding. Yeah, that's a real relief to have this thing back in action now and functioning as it should. Clutch has some nice travel to it, and yeah, hopefully it should last me another, I don't know, 8 or so, 10 years maybe, who knows, even longer. That would be everything's reconnected for the front end loader, and we are ready for the next big snowfall. So there we have it. Tractor is fixed in record time nonetheless. Thanks for checking out this video. I'm really glad that you took the time to watch today. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll continue to do more. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye for now.